Happy Friday again, Pat.
Rick, how you doing, buddy?
Good. I was just looking at the numbers and nothing's changed. So good night, everybody.
Yep. I guess like Fetterman says, good night, Arizona.
Yeah.
That's what I'll start it up.
I saw, we're going to dive into a little bit the numbers here, but I saw, as much as we keep drilling on all this data, I found the biggest leading economic indicator that seems to be the most accurate here, and crushing it. Yes, Terry, we banned that word.
Hey, Terry, I have not, that word has been very limited use on Facebook lately with real estate agents.
I'm still seeing a lot of shift.
Remember that was our theme about 5-6 months ago. I said the word crushing it, and that has just gone away.
Got it. Yep. Tyler says you're a finely tuned machine.
Here
it is, folks. If the Philadelphia Phillies win the World Series, prepare for an economic crisis.
Yeah.
Turns out, how's the new job going at McDonald's? Turns out they won in 1929, right before the crash, and they won again in 1980 before the big downturn from 80 to 83. And then when did they win again? I think those were the two times. So if you're watching the World Series, and I haven't watched any of it, but hey, if Philly wins, sell everything.
I know, I saw that.
Or if they're ahead in the playoffs, in other words, sell on rumor, buy on fact, or whatever.
Yeah.
Terry's been squeezing it.
Well, if the Houston wins, I guess that guy, I know
Sean
getting off
right.
Crushing in 2020 means different. Yep, no kidding.
2008. I don't think so.
But I want to jump in first. My buddy, just to change the subject, my buddy, I apologize. My buddy saw our videos for the first time. He goes, your eyes move around on your screen. He goes, you look very disinterested in the crowd. I'm like, I love the crowd. I mean, I'm trying to look at all my screens here. So that's why it's hard for me to look at the camera. So he made me very aware of it last time. Like, hey, I got stuff I'm looking at in the screen. I want to be looking people in the eye, but I know.
Well, I know people don't realize you have 4 monitors. You have 3 above you and 1 down below. And I think I'm on the one that's up to the right.
Yeah, so it's hard to keep everybody. Everybody knows of it.
Problem. I try to look at the camera, but then you're down here and my charts are over here. So
everybody knows I jump around. So I mean, my eyes jump around too. So what the hell?
It's not drugs, so you're okay. Yeah. So I looked at a chart here. Get this. This is new listings by month, and it goes way back to 2000. So it gives a seasonal average, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see what happens in November, December, and it actually drops by 30% just in new listings by the time you get in December. And you look at where we're at now with new listings, and we're way down here. So you can see this number here said in December, 161,000 for the month on the average. Mm-hmm. And right now, 2022, we're sitting at 97,000. So the new listings just aren't coming on. But, and this is October, November at 115. So wait till December. There's going to be nothing going on out there. But time will tell. I mean, that's just the way the holidays are. It just gets slower and slow. And that's why I always kid that's when I finish my continuing education. But pending listings are still going down. They look like they flatlined over here for about a 3 or 4 week period.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're down, once again. So we're not seeing any surprises there. I still have my 7-day moving average, and it's showing the same thing. New mm-hmm. listings down. The listings going under contract are stuck in that 2,200 range. And Terry says he's not retired. I just grew listless. Phillies 4-1 over Tampa, 2008. Oh boy. Okay. 2008. That's what Michael. That's what you're referring to.
Yeah, September 2008.
I thought you were referring just to real estate crash in general, but yeah. So I mean, if you're rooting for the Phillies, watch out. So,
Yeah.
So Pat, rates kind of, they were screaming up, and now they kind of bounced off of a ceiling and came down a little bit today, didn't they?
Yep. Yeah, they did. The 10-year. I mean, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to turn around so I get to see the rates, because obviously I know, like I said, I'm just stuck on the price. But yeah, I mean, rates hit the ceiling. I mean, we're looking at, this is 4.28 10-year. These are watermarks as far as, you can see how the resistance, they hit that. So, I mean, today we saw the Treasury was up 0.7 to 401. The bonds were down. Like I said the other day, it's just really amazing, the volatility in the market the last, really this whole year. Just the days, especially the last 2, 3, 4 months. Like this was down 27 basis points. I mean, these marks, the bonds have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday had a good day. It came back. The rates, backed off a little bit here. But I mean, I'm going to go, give me 1 second here, stretch this out 2 years. Like you said, I know you and I, obviously, we get to be like a broken. There's been periods where we were selling like broken record. Remember during COVID, we were selling like a broken record. Yeah. Then 2021, there's like this sustained period where we have for like 5, 6, 7 months where we just selling a broken record, but then all of a sudden something happened, and but this has not been a, once again, I said this last year. I mean, it's so crazy to me to say, you look at this right here. This is the beginning of the year. I mean, it's like a ticking time bomb with rates. You just started moving right at the beginning of the year, and they just been really, it's been just a bedlam, just a crazy circus all year. We've got more pain, but, I really think that, the pending homes were down 10% in September. That obviously shows that home sales are very dependent on rates.
Well, the National Association of Realtors, their head economist came out and said we'll see rates at 8.5%. The caveat to that is they've never been right. He's never right.
Yeah. I just get they've never been right. So that's one good thing is tell
them maybe go to 10. I don't know. He's
go to 10. Yeah. So I mean, I think I was just as you said that, I was thinking the same darn thing. But so I mean, this has been a crappy year. And I think I'm being very, that's a very eloquent way of me of putting it, right? But with rates at 6, 7, 8, 6 and 7, 8, 7, it's this really, people are just not motivated to buy. And I ran some numbers. I mean, the difference between, say, 7 and 4 and 7 eighths, it's about a $600 a month difference. Yeah. That's about a 25% increase in your monthly housing costs. And it's pretty simple. I'm just trying to step back and say rates have gone up. They back off. The bottom line is, you and I have talked about this. I said this. I think, if we get a change in the current view of oil and gas, I think that'll be a telltale sign. I mean, that's my opinion, but just looking at the whole inflation
that's driving everything.
Yeah.
I want to switch over to Sean's thought here for a second too, just quickly, and kind of ask everybody else what they think. After the Super Bowl, we'll see an onslaught of Airbnb exits. Sean, I would say maybe after spring training, if the economy's in the doldrums, because I don't think anybody's hanging on to their Airbnbs, for a 2-week party there. I think that it's true they're going to get 3-4 times the amount that they normally get, if not higher. Yeah. But their bread and butter is spring training. So if spring training looks like it's going to be bad, if fuel prices are still high, flights are down, people aren't showing here, then I think you'll see some Airbnbs exit. Whether or not we have a flood, I don't know, and it may be more localized. It may not, make its way into Scottsdale, so, but it's something to watch because there are a ton of them out there. And if there was a flood,
when you say ton, do you have is there anything that you can say? Like, is there any?
I'm going to have to go back and look up what the website is. I found it once. It's somewhere around 30,000, I believe.
So
I gotta look it up.
No, not in Phoenix. How many?
Well, in our valley here, Michael wants my Arizona candidate endorsement. You first.
That's a trick question, boy. That's a
you first.
They're trying to suck us into the political scheme.
We're not going there.
No,
I could get on here and give a very neutral stance for both candidates. I could look you right in the eye and go, well, when I look at this one, I think I read this. I look at this one, I read that, not offer any opinions, and I will get the tar kicked out of me. So I just not gonna.
Well, it's kind of like I read
I'll
something
talk with Pat about it over a beer, but I'm not gonna. But anyway,
well, it's
so let me ask the group here, because we've got pretty much the same group. How long do you think this pain of interest rates that we're at will last, and when do you think that we will see that balance of rates versus values? Because that's really what we're holding out for, right?
Yep.
We know that 5.5 is a sweet spot where people come jumping back in, but how long is this? Are we going to be watching this till next October? And what do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, I think, God, it's but my take on things. This is just like you said. I think we get a change. We get some change in November, just a change, and a positive change because things have been stalemated. The Feds, I look at it this way: they've been behind the 8 ball. They're going to raise it 3/4, half a point in December. They're going to let it run its course for a bit. They're not going to probably do anything the next couple of changes off, next couple of months after that. I think they'll see what transpires, and they will. I think if they do get a combination of oil and gas, something loosening up, whether it's leases or regulations, just to open it up a little bit, I think you'll see a little bit of pressure. And my take on the thing is that I think May, June, July, that time frame. I really think like you said, I've said this several months now. Oh, am I off? Nope.
No, you're on.
Okay, I'm on another computer screen change. I really think that, once again, I have segmented this into periods like 18 and 24 month periods, from 18 and 19 to 21.
Now you froze. Oh, we lost Pat. So he'll come back on. He does that. I think he changes his hat or something. But so we got comments to say the Fed will pivot around February. There he's back.
Yeah, I think. Who was that other gentleman that just jumped on? I think. Yeah, I mean, I think February, March they're gonna, because let's just look at their track record. I mean, I'm just trying to be, I'm not trying to be pent up about anything, but I think look at their track record. They've been behind the 8 ball for the last couple of years. So
yeah.
They're always looking behind. They're looking at the numbers. Things are slowing down behind the scenes. It seems that way. So do they stop pulling back in February, March? And I think
it's all going to depend on not so much the CPI, but what's the other number that they look at out there?
The PC, the personal consumption expenditures.
Yeah, that's the main PC. One that Powell's focusing on, and so they're going to look at that and then say, are we making any progress there or not? So we just don't know. And like you said, and even what Neil Cavuto today said, this is all about oil. Because they've already affected housing. So
that's exactly it.
They're trending down now, and it's going to stay in that trajectory as long as we stay right where we're at now. House prices will come down, and they're not falling off a cliff. Watch out for, this is a seasonal thing, but I'm saying November 1st, which is just a couple days away, we're going to see 1,000 expired listings, if not more. And so I think that's just people saying, I gave it the good old college try to sell my home, but I'm just going to take it off the market.
Wait for holidays.
The holidays, probably put it back on in January. And for real estate agents that like calling expired listings, there's your Christmas present. You can pester people. Sean says Fed has 2 concerns: unemployment, CPI. They won't pivot until massive layoffs start to occur. And that's what he means by pain, Sean. Abraham says, what do you fellas think of estimating the true value of homes to date by erasing the last 2 years' gain and only giving them a 6% per year instead of what they are now? That's realistic. I think if we got down to 2020 levels and rates were at 6%, there's a lot of happy campers out there as far as, people being able to afford to purchase. Whether or not we get there, I don't know. So I think because I don't want to see the market heat back up again. And everybody's got their target. You were speaking earlier about the payment difference, right, Pat? I mean, almost $600 to $700 a month.
Yeah. And you add in inflation of $300, $400, $500 with gas and food. You're talking about $1,100, $1,200 a month difference for a family of four, let's say. That's a hit. That's a big hit.
Tremendous hit. It's called share of wallet. I used to be in the bread business, and I'm watching what's going on there when I walk by the aisle and I look at the prices, and their diesel fuel's way up, their flour is way up, wheat is way up, everything that goes into a simple bread is probably one of the economic indicators for inflation that you'll ever see. And it's because there's so many ingredients and there's so many things that are affected by it. And I think it was Best Foods came out and said that they're going to raise prices again. They have to. Everything that they touch is going up. So until that starts to go down, I mean, I remember being in the grocery business when inflation was rocking and rolling, and my job was, I was 18 years old. I was just changing the prices on products. We didn't have scanners back then, so you had to take a razor blade and scrape off the old sticker and then.
Was that 1945? 1940?
42.
Okay.
And so, but trending topics, Fed pause after the December hike. That's possible. But it all depends on that number.
Well, you see the other European banks are pausing or they're slowing down their rate increases. So, I mean, I read something at Axios. There's been a 26.4% rate of contraction in the housing residential sector. He says nearly as bad as the height of the pandemic, which was minus 27 in Q2 of 2020. And the global financial crisis, it was minus 33% in Q4 of 2008. So we're getting beaten up a lot more than I think we give ourselves credit for. And
the only reason the pain is not worse and the prices are not falling off is simply because of the fact that there aren't that many people that have to sell their homes, so they're staying put.
They got the rate lockdown.
Yeah, I saw a listing. It's a 2-bedroom patio home in Central Phoenix, or South Central Phoenix anyway, and they were asking $367 for it, and they didn't change the price. All they did was hire another realtor and put even worse pictures up. They just took they're obviously blaming the slow sales on the real estate agent. Yeah. I'm just going to switch brokerages. That'll do the trick. Well, not with those photos you put up. You won't.
Exactly.
So you've really got to drill in. And I interviewed somebody today on a totally different subject, but I interviewed Dylan McNavich with Pro Inspect, and he's one of the inspectors I use or recommend for residential real estate when you get a contract. And we talked about inspecting new construction. And I don't know when we're going to launch that video, but when it comes out, you got to listen to that. Man, he talks about what he looks at before the sheetrock goes on and what he finds. Give you a little example. He said, you know how they drill a hole in a 2x4 to put plumbing through it?
Mm-hmm.
They should put a metal plate in front of that. That's code, right? So that when you hang the sheetrock, you won't drill into that 2x4 and cause a leak. And he said he sees that all the time. Or you see electrical wires where they run the conduit through that, and then they're putting on the sheetrock right into the wire. So he's got example after example of why getting a home inspection on new builds is critical. I'm more convinced now than ever. And last year they weren't letting them do that. They used things like, oh, there's too much liability. They treated buyers like, you're lucky to have this house.
Yeah,
Well, now
I
they're
know.
letting him
Oh, they got their.
get on
It's
board.
amazing how quick they change their tune. I go to front. Check my.
The only job I haven't done is stock shelves.
It's amazing, it's just amazing looking back on this last year, how the last couple of years have really changed. I mean, up at, last November, people were paying 30, 40, 50,000 over going into December. There was a rush, January. And like you said, the charts that you had been showing on the show really did show that change, and it really did. It's quite interesting.
Well, people are asking me about
time.
the Cromford Index, and I got to show you the latest here. See, let me go under news and commentary here. This is interesting, Pat. Look, with 100 being balanced, right? Look at Queen Creek. They're leading the pack as the worst here. They're at 50.
Holy crap! Wow,
Well,
that was all like 200-300 back in the day, or 400.
Yes, yeah.
Woo.
But even Fountain Hills, which was 570 at one time, is down to 150. So they're all coming down. And even Chandler is down below 100 at 90. And Chandler and Phoenix are just about tied there. But it's the outlying areas out here in Maricopa, Buckeye, and Queen Creek, where all the new construction is, where they're getting hit. Sean says people buy the payment. Exactly. They buy the payment.
Yep.
Affordability in Vegas, Boise, and Phoenix is a real concern. Average income per household, $75K. Family can't afford it right now. Yeah, I get a little squirrely when you get baby boomers. You know those guys? They go, back in the day, my rate was 13%. Yeah, well, your house was $92,000.
Yeah, and you know what? I hate that argument, as I said before, because somebody buying a house right now, I don't care what your rate was 30 years ago. I care about what rate is today. So that argument just drives me nuts. I mean, that the affordability, that's why I bring up the $500,000 home at 7%, it's $3,035. At 4 3/4, it's $2,380. It's almost it's basically about $700. Let's call it $700 a month difference. I mean, if values do fall 10%, it's going to make change the value of your payment by about $350. It's really going to be, that's why we saw such a change in July and August when rates did fall, that it does change a payment much more drastically. And that it goes back like to the 2-1 buy down that we say, remember the art, it says, should we lower the price or do we give concessions to get the rate lower? It mathematically is always better to get the rate lower to get the payment, because just dropping it $10,000 in value is not going to help that much in payment. So really that bodes into the argument of really, if rates do drop, you're going to see that's going to help people a lot
I want to read you something, because I get this, I call it inside the industry email from different companies that send things to real estate agents, like what to say. And I chuckle at some of them, but I think you would enjoy this. It says our take, and I'm not going to say who these people are, but they, during the week,
expose them.
Yeah. Well,
no,
maybe I can. Let's see. Who are they?
I'm just kidding.
During the week of October 18th, Citi was offering a 30-year fixed mortgage rates at 7%, while Bank of America and Chase were offering rates of 5.65. Were you hearing any of that, Pat?
I didn't. I really don't pay attention to the big banks, honestly.
So here's their take. Here comes the advice. We see this as a massive opportunity to help buyers navigate their mortgage market. We encourage you to be a wealth of information in this area. They're talking to realtors now. Tell your buyers to apply with multiple lenders, both big banks, small and local lenders, to make sure they're getting the best deal. Once they found the lowest rate, help them understand their options to bring that rate even further. The easier and more affordable you make the home buying process, the more clients you can help and the better you can set yourself apart. So apply to several different banks and local banks.
Yeah. I mean, I applaud people for, looking and researching what difference are. I mean, because there are differences on the broker side, the retail side. I mean, typically if somebody shops around, you can find on the retail bank they typically will add underwriting and processing fee of anywhere from $1,000 to $1,700. On the broker side, we're a little bit, I don't charge that. And, you can get, by shopping around, typically I've seen people can make a difference of anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in closing costs and the rate, the combination of rate and fees. So, but to shop around at 5, 6, 7, you're gonna get more. The first time buyers can get more confused than anything else because they're gonna do buy downs. You don't know how to compare apples to apples.
Yeah, because you gotta look at all the fees involved too. And and Jason there says, big banks do sometimes undercut by 0.5% for a few days. Gustavo's correct that 2,000 to 2,500 is a new normal for rentals.
The big banks, I can't compete. With the bigger banks like Wells Fargo and these wealth management, the cities, they'll have a wealth management department, obviously mortgage that, they want to go after a jumbo. I can't even touch it some days. There's sometimes, the market ebbs and flows on our side, depending how the lenders want, if they want deals or not. Back when we had the boom, lenders would raise rates because if they got so busy, they could not, that was the only way they can control business not coming in. That you could see a lender jump out of the market, say, oh, they're priced out of the market right now. They don't want any more loans. So now they're doing the same thing. When business is slow, they're going to obviously try to, if they got their own money.
Try to fill the pipeline a little bit.
Yeah. And, I think I mentioned this. I had this one really great ARM bank out of Florida, had a great ARM product. And I think I might have mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but it was there. And all of a sudden it just disappeared from my pricing engine. I'm like, I called the rep and he's like, oh, the investors said they're just getting flooded. So they limited the number of really locked volume that they could, pull in that product on that loan program. So they pulled it off. And, they're going to come out at the beginning of next week with a certain allotment in their jumbo. It was a jumbo ARM market product. So,
well, we'll see what happens. Hey, let's let everybody know we found a location for our meet and greet. We had to take it to Chandler. Gilbert was they're very proud of their meeting space and trying to heat, and it was prohibitively expensive and limited. But we found a great location. If those of you that have ever been to Craft 64 in Chandler, it's right across the street from the San Marcos. They've got a great patio in the back that we get to use. And so we're limiting it to 35 people. So I've got the registration link below in the description, and I'm going to have another video coming out tonight to announce it, but we'd love to see you.
It'd be great to see everybody. It's just, it'd be cool.
Yeah. I go through.
I love our people that chime in.
The only person I've met is Sean. So, so it'd be fun to have you guys show up. So we're going to provide some drinks for you and some hors d'oeuvres, and they've got great pizzas, bruschetta and stuff. And I know that people preferred on the survey to have it in Gilbert, but the date is November 15th. It's a Tuesday. I didn't want to make it a Thursday. I didn't want to compete with Thursday night football. So we got Tuesday. Pat went in there yesterday and helped secure the spot for us. So we're ready to go. And I hope a lot of you can make it. So as soon as we hit 35, I got to cut off the registration. So you guys that are watching now have first access to the link. And so we'll see what happens. I know when I put out the survey of where to do it, we had 104 responses. And I'm like, I can't do that. But we'll do more. We'll move them around the valley and do more because it's just fun.
Yeah, it's cool to meet people. But hey, can I comment really quickly on Jason? He gave me a shout out. Thanks, Jason, for the I take pride in the fact that I think my rates are. I try, to keep. That's why I went to the broker side so I could be more competitive. Like you said, there's a lot of good retail mortgage banks out there, but the bottom line is their structure is built a little differently with the managers and the vice presidents and the marketing. So, and then Sean, haven't we seen a lot of those Home Depot type of mortgage companies stop writing loans? Yeah, there's been a lot of. Finance of America they shuttered their retail and their wholesale. We're seeing we saw a surge about a couple months ago of companies just Loan depots and companies getting out of the business, reshifting. I haven't heard too much shakeout recently besides Finance of America, but there's a lot of shifting going on behind the scenes as far as the mortgage business. I think people are slowly pulling out of it. I don't think I've been doing it 22 years. I don't think I'm going anywhere, regardless of how fast, how busy I am. But I've been steady busy. I've got people out there that are I got a handful of people that are like kind of just email me. Here's my pay stubs. Got this one gal that you and I talked to that. Here's my pay stubs. We're ready to go in the next couple of months. So they're out there. They're in the woods.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Sean just let me know that I need to allow access on the Google Forms. I knew there'd be something wrong with it. So I'm going to, as soon as we get off here, I'm going to fix that. Terry, we just reserved you a table at Hooters. You'll be down the street.
Hoosiers or Hooters? Hooters. You said Hoosiers. Did you say Hooters? Yeah. Hooters is right down the street. No, this Craft 64's got good food. It's a nice little, it's downtown Chandler. So it's, trying to support
check back.
local.
I'm gonna fix the form here in just a couple minutes. So, but looking forward to seeing everybody. Can't wait. And like I say, as soon as we hit 35, we gotta kill it. But Pat, have a great Friday and an awesome weekend.
Thank you, everybody.
See ya.
Talk to you soon. Have a good week. Bye bye.